These brackish waters tell the story of the cycle of life. The Indian River Lagoon contains thousands of species of plants and animals, so there are many stories to tell. But this one is about a summer wonder when the lagoon becomes a nursery for migrating tarpon. Its mangrove creeks and salt marshes come alive with new generations of silver kings. And where there are juvies, there are giants.
Oh! Nice bow, Nix. Oh, jump. Nice one, Nick. Woohoo! Check it out. That is a legitimate river monster.
It is one of the largest migrations of bait on planet Earth.
Psycho!
I think you've just done something the first time ever in the world.
My name is Captain Peter Deeks. I'm a fishing guide on the Indian River Lagoon system. I've been fishing here my whole life. I grew up on it, and it's a special place to me. I love fishing for tarpon on it, as well as a lot of other game fish. This area is my home. I love fishing here.
The charter guide is just one of the 4,400 species of plant, animal, bird, and fish that call the Indian River Lagoon home. Long and slender, 156 miles from tip to tail, the Indian River Lagoon stretches from Ponce Inlet south to Vero Beach, snaking along the many barrier islands in between. Among the many game fish here is the tarpon. Tarpon spawn in the Atlantic as far as 100 miles offshore, and their eggs are then carried into the Indian River Lagoon by ocean currents. Hurricanes have even pushed the larvae into the lagoon. But is there more to the story?
In areas like the Indian River Lagoon system, we have tiny little tiny tarpon back up in these little creeks and canals. And then we have every size out until they get to the age when they migrate. They show up in the late spring and they leave in the fall. We don't have them in the wintertime. And then we get these giant fish, some fish over 200 pounds, that will come in the summertime when the tarpon are spawning. But it's an interesting coincidence that these big fish, these giant fish, come into the rivers where we also have these tiny little ones. And so I think it makes this area unique in that we have maybe a full life cycle of these big fish. And so when we catch these little tiny guys in the mosquito ditches, those might grow up and become these giant fish in 60 years that move back into the area to spawn in the summer.
This time of year, the lagoon has tarpon in sizes extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. The juveniles find protection from predators in the stagnant, tannic creeks where oxygen is scarce. The tarpon's swim bladder allows them to gulp air at the surface to get the necessary oxygen. It's the only marine species on Earth with this ability.
Tarpon on! Man, this is such a cool fish. The neat thing about these little tarpon is it's like proportionally the same as the big fish. Give us a jump. Oh, there he goes. So cool. Such a cool fish. We're back here in this real dirty, dingy, brackish water. But how cool is this on light tackle? All righty. Check out that beautiful fish. That is the coolest little guy right there. And it's neat to think that in 30 years, he's gonna be a big giant tarpon. All right, little guy, thank you. Woohoo, so cool.
Peter is moving on to the next spot, and at 2,200 square miles, the Indian River Lagoon has plenty of next spots.
Excellent work, man.
It's August, and the Indian River is slicked off. The runway is clear for takeoff. Peter is chasing the next stage in the tarpon life cycle.
The size of the tarpon tend to reflect the depth of the water and the size of the environment. So a smaller environment is going to have smaller fish. And once they outgrow that area, then they continue to find larger and larger areas to live. And once they become sexually mature, then they move out into the ocean and join large schools and do a lot of migrating. We're not quite sure the age of these fish when they leave these backwater estuaries, but you'll find in the little canals and little creeks, the little guys, the little tiny little tarpons, they'll be back in water as shallow as 12 inches, living with little mosquito fish and minnows, things like that. And then as they get larger, they'll move out into larger creeks. And the creek we're fishing today, we're looking for that 5 to 30 pound fish. So, creeks that are about 5 feet deep and about 30 feet wide. And that's the environment that the, 5 to 15 pound fish like to live in. And so we're pulling up to a spot here. I think it's gonna be a good spot. We got a lot of water flowing out, a lot of fresh water. We had a lot of rain last night, and we're gonna catch some fish here. We got us a cute little one on here. This is so fun. This guy's going crazy. Look at him. How cool is that fish right there? Check him out. I'm gonna grab this fish here real quick. They're in the bottom of the jaw. Kind of makes it a little dangerous. That is just the neatest fish. It's so cool to think that that fella right there might grow to be 200 pounds or more.
That was a nice friendly undercard for Peter. But the fish we're looking for are larger, older, wiser. Bring on the next round of competition.
Alrighty, let's get this little jungle tarpon back in the water. It's so cool. Woohoo!
Like reluctant kids living at home, juvenile tarpon stay in the Indian River Lagoon until they've matured to about 40 or 50 pounds. Then they move out. Meanwhile, bigger tarpon, long graduated from these protected backwaters, are migrating along Florida's Atlantic coast. There are no residential tarpon in the lagoon. All are headed somewhere, both north and south, traveling in schools, driven by instincts that are 100 million years old.
Fish on that one. Okay, start walking up front. Perfect, good job. Doing good, Nix. Crushing it. Bring him over here to the left side, Nick. Nice one, Nick. Send him off. Good job, Nix. Way to go. Woohoo! Good team. He's gonna jump. Oh! Nice. Doing really good, Nick. Doing great. All right, that's good, Nick. Just let him get tired. Just hang on. Nice fish.
Next up, the adult tarpon. The savvy traveler that can live up to 80 years. The one that can see your sad, sloppy cast from a mile away. Luckily, we've got a professional. Tarpon are tropical and subtropical coastal dwellers, frequenting nearshore reefs, rivers, beaches, bays, and estuaries. Their territory ranges from Central America to the Caribbean, to Mexico, to Africa, to the Indian River Lagoon.
Go, Nix!
Big giant tarpon.
Big giant tarpon. You did it, Nix!
Big giant tarpon.
Usually these river fish, man, are like super aggressive. It's a tarpon. Big one too.
There's hooking tarpon, and then there's landing tarpon. Those two are not a package deal. What's for certain is where the fight begins is not where it will end. So settle in, keep the rod tip down when they leap, and enjoy the ride.
Oh, he's gonna do a big jump right here. He's gonna jump. Epic. Powerful. Yeah, we've been running the rivers looking for these big migrating tarpon schools, and we came across this school pretty quick and threw some live mullet at them, and man, hooked up. We got a beautiful fish on. You know, there's so many different environments you can catch these big fish, and it's really neat when you get them in this kind of dingy, dirty river water. I mean, it's like, it's a river monster, and to catch them right here, it's gonna be a little bit golder than the ones we catch in the clear water. This water kind of stains them a little bit. It makes it a really unique fish. That is a true river monster.
Hold me till I grow weightless, navigate the darkness so far from here, light on all that's uncertain. Is that heaven waiting for me?
So we jumped off the boat into the water because we're on a shallow flat right here, and this allows us to land these fish a lot quicker. When you get these fish in shallow water, you can bring them in a lot faster. It's better for the fish. Their survival rate goes way up. Oh man. So exciting. All right, let me get that hook out here real quick. See, you keep these fish in the water, it's so much better for them. This is such a special fish for me. Look at the size of that tarpon. Right in the river. It's a legitimate river monster. That is a legitimate river monster. Let's let her go. But look at the size of that beautiful fish. All right, let's get her back. All right, dude, she's ready.
By 2025, 75% of Americans will live within 50 miles of a coast. The Indian River Lagoon knows that statistic well. 39 cities cozy up to its edge, and the human impact is profound. And nature is not undefeated. The world made just one Indian River Lagoon, and we have to rewrite the ending. The tarpon is a story that's been written over 100 million years, one summer at a time.